Well, back here at home, a judge's sentence sparks outrage in Delaware. A driver responsible for the deaths of a father and his 4 daughters, all of them slapped on the wrist with just 1 year probation. So how does this happen? A former head of New Jersey County Prosecutor Robert Bianchi joins us now with his expertise. Thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Absolutely, Heather.
Let's just begin with that. How does this happen?
Okay, so having led an agency where we handle many of these cases, I understand the emotional temperament. There are 5 beautiful people that are dead. Nevertheless, under the law, the mere happening of an accident is not enough for criminal responsibility. It has to be a substantial disregard to a known risk. DUI would be one of those things. Speeding would be one of those things. Driving on a sidewalk where there are people. In this particular case, the facts are that he was having a coughing spell, lost control of the vehicle, and unfortunately, tragically, these individuals were dead. Even the prosecutor was only asking for a 6-month sentence, and the prosecutor, when asked by the judge, is there anything here to show more culpability or responsibility, said there are no signs of intentional or reckless conduct. That made the prosecution's case a very bad criminal law case. If they went before a jury, the defense attorney may have won that case from a legal point of view.
So hard for the families to understand, though. The mom, who actually was the only survivor, said this, if we can bring up her statement. She said, his one life will never be enough for the 5 people he killed. That was from Mary Rose, the mom. She's 52 years old. She told that to the News Journal of Wilmington, Delaware.
Yeah, of course, and this is how they feel, but the criminal justice system is dealing not with the loss so much as it is the actions of the person that is alleged to have caused the loss. It's clearly a good civil case. She can get justice there. And in fact,
I was going to ask you, what other options are there at this point?
Yeah, she had a civil case because there was an issue about road conditions as well, which would have actually helped the defense in the criminal case. But from what we understand, there's been an undisclosed settlement with respect to that civilly. So this entire matter is over. But the question always becomes, is this just merely an accident that requires just a civil response, or a criminal case which is far worse, which means that defendant did something that was so reckless, such a gross deviation that a reasonable person would not have done it. And unfortunately, things like medical events and maybe even a little bit of distracted driving, what I think the public needs to do is back up a little bit. Think about yourself when you're driving. We don't want to be criminalizing all sorts of potentially negligent conduct, but does it rise to that bar of substantial disregard for a known risk, like driving on a sidewalk where there's people?
So a couple other tweets from people that, seem to side with the family on this. One of them said, I don't think it should be considered murder, but second-degree homicide would be appropriate. The prosecutor was already being extremely lenient. You mentioned that. Really bad call by the judge, if you ask me. Then the next one we have, apparently you can kill multiple people now and get probation. Is the Delaware legal system different than the rest of the country? This is insane. This family deserves justice. So answer that.
I love that tweet where they said, is this like this everywhere else? And the answer to the question to your viewer is yes. Again, criminal conduct requires something more than just mere negligence or the mere happening of an accident in order for it to be criminalized. And why people have an emotional and visceral response for the family because they feel really bad for them, the fact of the matter is it's about the conduct of the defendant. This was a 3-month investigation. That tells me they really couldn't determine whether or not there was recklessness. And in the end, the prosecutor and the judge had this very lenient sentence because they feared, the prosecutor, if we go to trial based on the law, we could lose it all. So it's better to get something by way of a conviction than nothing.
All right. Good point. Good point. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Got a little lesson in the law today. Thank you.